mean, was Wyoming a really good defensive team, or like where does that? What was going on?
Oh man, that's a great question, Brent. Um, y- there, what I mean, the process is not that unfamiliar. In other words, what we're what we're dealing with and where we're trying to get to is not. It's not like I haven't seen this before from this team, and I think that we had hoped that because we were a little more experienced and starting off the year in a better place, that we wouldn't be dealing with it in January. That's all. And certainly some of the changes in the way things have evolved in the COVID year has probably contributed to it happening in January, and that is that we always go through this stage of first trying to be sure they understand how hard they have to play and how intense they have to play. So we're actually playing some pretty darn good defense. I mean, Wyoming's a good offensive team, and we defended them really well, and I don't have any complaints about that. And we've been gradually getting better and better and better defensively. We're doing so many things that I've been, that are important. We're crashing the offensive boards. We didn't force as many turnovers as we normally need to because we're very dependent on getting a certain percentage of our offense off of our turnovers, and getting out in transition from the turnovers, not necessarily from the boards because we don't have that kind of dominant rebounding, but we do get a lot of turnover transition buckets, and we didn't get those against Wyoming. They took good care of the ball, so we lost that element. But in getting to that point where we play that hard, because this is essentially, these are all Type A kids, but they're pretty laid back as basketball players. That's just their personality. So they're in a good place there, and now they're trying to figure out how to make that pace and that intensity work offensively and make the transition from one end to the other end. And it's always a challenge with any team. I've known coaches that said you cannot play both ends with an equal level of intensity, and I said that's baloney. But there's no question, with as much as we have to scrape and claw and fight and battle, then when it comes time to go to the other end, it's pretty hard to settle in. And when teams make us work that hard to score, like Boise State, the first time we played them, they weren't that intense defensively. Second time they were. Utah State climbed all over us. Wyoming was all over us, just really digging in, and they're big, and we struggle with teams that are big, and Wyoming was big, and we just couldn't hit a shot, And I think so much of it does have to do with just getting comfortable with transitioning from that level of intensity defensively to the pace you want to play offensively. We're going to get there. It's once again, I'm not that upset with them. I just wish we weren't dealing with it in January. That's all. I just thought we wouldn't have to deal with it again in January. It doesn't help either. 3 out of 4 weekends in January we're on the road, and I'm not complaining because it is what it is. But it's just hard. It's just hard to keep playing these guys over on their place. The one time we played at home, we beat the best team in the conference.
Yeah. Well, now you're not playing the best team in the conference, this weekend. Is it a better matchup for you?
I think so. Yes, San Diego State has talent. They've always had talent, and they have players that can suddenly surprise you and do some pretty amazing things. And I don't know that they're the kind of machine that Wyoming is. Wyoming is they're just a machine. They work their tails off. They're skilled. They have good size. But San Diego State definitely has some talent. They've got some really good athletes. They got a transfer from Minnesota who's been doing a great job for them, Mercedes Staples, and they have one of the returning shooters, Taya Adams, she can really knock the three down. So, and they've got some rotating post players with size, athleticism. So we'll have our hands full, but I do think it's a little bit better matchup for us from the standpoint of hopefully we'll be able to score. score a little bit better. I hope. But we got to hit some shots. I mean, we're missing wide open jump shots. And we're struggling to finish around the rim. And so, but like I said, they're playing hard. It's tough for me to be mad when they're playing hard. And we definitely need Kaylin Immel to snap out of it, to get back to what she's capable of doing. Because we haven't seen it. She hasn't been herself yet. Has not been herself yet. And that was going to hopefully be just that boost that we needed. And it's okay for me to. She knows she's not herself, and she knows we need her to be.
Well, a non-basketball question. I know, we've talked a lot. You're very adamant about the advancement of women in basketball. Was today's inauguration anything special to you with a woman, now being vice president? Like, did you watch that? Did the team watch that? Any thoughts on that?
Well, I know they've been in class, but I think certainly it's any time we can break in one of those glass ceilings. I always said we're going to have a female president before we have a female head coach of college men's basketball, and I still believe that. I still believe that we will have a female president before we have and certainly having a female vice president. That's a step in the right direction. It's a start for sure. So yeah, I mean, this is always a very special day for our country, and it's interesting because this is also my late husband's birthday, and we used to always laugh about how he was born on Inauguration Day. He used to love to say, "I came in with Ike." So it's always been a day with special meaning to me, for sure.
Okay. Well, best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Brent. I know yours. I can tell yours. You are equally perplexed, and yeah, we are doing some good things. Honestly, we are. I think the only two games we wish we had back, were those first two Utah State games that came at such a tough time. But otherwise, Wyoming at Wyoming, I would have been ecstatic if we'd been able to steal one. I really would have. And we just got to, keep. We're playing. That's what's important. We're playing, and we have to keep up having a great attitude about that, and just be excited every time we can step on the floor and play a basketball game. Because I get a little upset. I can see why teams that are struggling, or it seems like all the coaches that speak out about we shouldn't be playing right now, they do it after they lose, right after they lose. And there's no question when you're losing and you're going through this and you're dealing with all this stuff, it just wears you out. It definitely wears you out. I think it's a little more fun when you're winning, but our players are not getting this back, and so we're gonna fight tooth and nail to play as many of these games as we can, and we're gonna figure out how to win them, because I hate to see them putting so much out there and going through so much and not getting the wins. We'll figure it out.
Is it harder for you guys because, with all the weirdness of this year, I guess to make up for that, because you can't just step out there and win with size or talent. You have to kind of have all the parts in a cohesive whole, and when you don't have the normal preseason and practice schedule, is it harder for you to overcome that than
yes and I think too that what's important to remember is that we have more talent than Air Force has ever had. That doesn't mean we have more talent than the rest of the Mountain West Conference, and so we still have to battle, fight. We have to get it done in a different way than other teams do. We're still going up against teams with all kinds of transfers from Power 5 conferences. We're going up against teams with, international players left and right. And we have to get it done a different way. The only thing that COVID did was just put it a little bit behind. That's all. I just thought I fully expected us to have a lot of the stuff that we have, we're dealing with right now resolved by now. We just haven't played that many games, you know. So hang in there. We will.
Okay.